Hey, what's up, traders? To watch this video from Monday, November 25th. Narrow range on Friday. You'll note the volume's dying down. We've got a holiday week coming, so I expect pretty low volume, but sometimes on the Thanksgiving week, the low floaters get a little busy and a little crazy, so I think it is worth, if you can, I think it's worth hanging out and looking for trades. You probably know the market's closed Thursday, and I think we've got a half day Friday. I also expect Wednesday afternoon to be pretty dead. But we are still going to run a mentoring session on Wednesday afternoon for those of you in our chat room. So that'll be fun. All right. So showing you a SPY here, just a narrow range on Friday. I'm going to go right into what I'm going to watch for possible trades on Monday. SPCE, I guess it's that Virgin Atlantic. I don't know. It's just way ahead of itself to the downside. I certainly think it's worth watching for a bounce. Keep in mind I'm a day trader. I'm not looking to invest, so in cash every night. But that one's certainly oversold and ahead of itself to the downside. So it goes on watch. KRTX had this crazy move from under 20 to 150. Now you've got a few days lower, a fairly narrow range compared to the previous four on Friday. So I do think that's worth watching for a bounce play. Kern, KERN, tweeted late Thursday about this one. As it was unfolding, I think it was just around $6 when I tweeted it, said, hey, let's watch this one next week. And then it ended up running the rest of the day. Still a really nice looking breakout on Friday and worth watching. Lower float stock. You see what it did back in June. I'm not suggesting it's going to do that again on this week or anything, but I do think it could give one of those low float runs, right? So we're going to watch for a red to green or something along those lines on Kern. GSX, relatively new issue from June and just basically hitting all-time highs on pretty strong volume. It's ahead of itself, but we will still watch it. And I'll give you an example why. SSI going into Friday was ahead of itself, right? I mean, pretty big move there, especially compared to its average true range. And then you had this big day, so we put it on watch for the next day. And even though it was ahead of itself, look what it did, right? And for those of you that weren't in chat, I called this on a 5-minute buy setup. There was the opening 5-minute candle. It gave an inside fives. I called it long over this candle, over 335 with a stop at 320. That's not too bad when you look at what it did, right? Went all the way up to almost 5. So there's an example of one that was ahead of itself and putting it on a watch list help us make a bunch of money, right? So that's why GSX goes on watching. Anything else that you see that looks extended. Right? AMSC, nice volume spike for this one. It's worth noting it still didn't hit 1 million shares, but pretty strong day, and you do have what I call a couple potential catalysts above, a point here, here, and here. So it might knock down these catalysts. We'll see. PRQR had this breakout on Thursday, and on Friday it looked like it was rolling over and ended up closing near its high. So you have Friday's high over 850. Possible half number inflection point, right? And then Thursday's high was very close to 9. So I do like that chart setup. We're going to watch it. DMPI. Just a breakout of this Long Island down here. I don't know if this was just a chat room pump or if it actually had news, but it did have decent volume and a nice breakout. So we'll see if it gives a follow through day. Not really my favorite one, but I'm going to watch it. VSTM, very strong volume and a fairly decent close. I'm going to watch that one. SONO. Man, I don't know how I missed this on Friday, but look what it did. I mean, look at it, Thursday after earnings, it almost hits 15 to the number and then climbs right back up there on Friday, and then this nice midday flag, and you get the whole number break of 15. You know, we love those, and pretty quickly, like 10 minutes to 1550. Anyway, back to the daily, and there's the weekly right there. So it's nowhere near all-time highs. I do think this one's worth watching. It's worth noting that breakthrough 15, a whole number, gave a nice pop, and now it's topped out at a half number, 1550. So that one has potential. Where am I? SONO. Fuel Cell, FCEL. Still in that flag. Look at how narrow the range was on Friday. Very low volume. So it's kind of off some people's radar, it feels like, after this pop. But for me, it's holding up pretty darn well. So I still consider it flagging, and I'm going to look for a volume and maybe a little flag break this week. We'll see, right? MYOV gapped up, had this kind of indecision day, started to roll over, but right now it's kind of back up to where it gapped up to that day 4 days ago. So I don't know. It was pretty whippy that day, but I still want to watch it. Same exact thing with CGIX. I didn't type that right. Hang on. CGIX. They look very similar. Both of them kind of trying to curl up when usually when you have these kind of gap up days on massive volume. Usually they just come back down, fill the gap, and you never hear from them again. Both of these look like they're trying to mount a second rally, so I want to watch them. And then lastly, I'm going to put RBZ on watch. I don't know. This is not generally a big mover, but it's coming out of a very tight range for like a month on decent volume, although it closed well off of its high. So that's kind of a possible sleeper pick. One last thing I want to mention, and I don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe by the time I post this video, the website will be back up, but it looks like there's some internet outages sporadically throughout the country, and it seems to be hitting my site, greatstockpicks.com. I can't log in right now, so I'm just going to post this on YouTube and tweet the link. So it's going to look a little different because usually I tweet the link to a web page that has the video embedded. So anyway, that's why I'm doing that, because right now I can't get into my own website. So anyway, we'll see you in chat tomorrow.